Judith was gone. That much they knew. What they didn't know was whether she had vanished, been taken, or had simply walked away from everything, letting the curtain fall in a final wordless act. But Judith, her mouth red, her hands smooth, her voice like a blade pressed to the skin, was not the kind of woman who disappeared without a plan. She had spent years under Rakdos, the great demon, the untouchable, the adored. She had stood beneath his wings, danced in his shadow, drenched herself in the blood of the stage. She had whispered in ears, gathered those who whispered back. It started as a grumble, a shared complaint, the small things. He never saw her, he never acknowledged her performances. She did the work, he reaped the worship. And so the whispers grew. They fed on the dark corners of Hellbender, the nightclub she owned, the one where she was her, not Rakdos's understudy, not his follower, but the diva, the grand dame, the one with eyes that never wavered, even when the knives came out. They called her Scourge Diva, but the scourge was not hers, not yet. When the war came, she played her part. She defended Ravnica, but not for duty, not for love. She did it because the stage demanded it, because every great act needs a climax. The Phyrexians fell, her spiked chains flashing in the firelight, her voice ringing through the carnage like the last note of a requiem. But afterward, when the embers cooled, she was still beneath Rakdos. The war had ended, and the play resumed its old script, so she rewrote it. The murders began quietly, small disturbances in a city still shaking off the war. Judith was not seen at the celebration at Karlov Manor when Zagana died, but she was there in the aftermath, her hands clean, her answers careful. She let the Azorius question her, let them watch her red lips move, let them see only what she wanted them to see. And when they asked the wrong questions, she hired Massacre Girl to carve out the right answers. A single death, precise, intentional, a message to those who thought they could interfere. But then, like a misstep in a dance, things slipped. The detectives came, led by Kaya and Kellen, sniffing around Hellbender, prying at the seams. Judith fed them what they needed, pointed them toward the old words of the Guild Pact, nudged them toward Rakdos. Let them believe the demon was the villain. He was, after all, but not in this story. Then there was Agrus Kos. The old ghost wouldn't let it go. He saw the strings she was pulling. He came to Rixmadi, pressing too close, peeling back the stage curtains. So she cut the strings, a crystal skull, a perfect prison, a lesson in silence. The final act was set in Vitu-Ghazi. Alquist Proft had gathered the players, arranged the lights. Judith arrived, expecting to see the spotlight on herself, ready for the moment she had built so carefully. But the script had changed again. Oba, the Dryad, the central piece of Trostani, stood at the center. The murders had been hers all along, vengeance against those she saw as traitors to Ravnica. Judith was a piece, not the playwright. The revelation left her cold, unsteady on a stage she no longer controlled. When Oba turned against the guild leaders, Judith ran. What else was there to do? The game had shifted and she had no time to redraw the board, but she didn't make it far. Massacre Girl found her, blade in hand, rage in her eyes, a final betrayal, one last performance. No one saw her after that. They searched, of course. The detectives retraced their steps, asked their questions, lifted the curtains on every stage she had ever stood on. But Judith was gone, leaving behind only echoes, whispers in dark corners, bloodstains on velvet, the lingering scent of smoke where the fire had burned too hot. Some say she is dead. Some say she is waiting. Some say the stage is simply empty. And one day, when the moment is right, when the lights are dim enough and the air is thick with the scent of sweat and fear and adoration, she will step back into place, smile that perfect red smile, and the show will go on.